Hello, my beautiful African people. Welcome back to Hail and Ride Africa YouTube channel. Today we are doing a part 2 of the high risk of our Africans in diaspora going back home to get married. Today we are looking at the high risk of women doing the same, single ladies in abroad, African single ladies traveling back to Africa and getting married to a random man or random men. Because the last one I did, I think some of our sisters, African sisters, they think, this is kind of one-sided, that those video was, is for men, to make some of our African brothers abroad happy. Today, I want to do part 2 to talk about the experience, the high risk of women as well, going back to get married to our African single men back home. Sometimes, I use the term nuclear option, which it is because most of those marriages, when you go back and marry someone, especially someone you have a long-term relationship with, comes with a big risk. And I have some stories, lots of stories, that this is real life stories that people were heartbroken. They went back home and it didn't work out for them. They're heartbroken. So it happens to men, our single African men abroad, and it happens to women as well. So I'm doing this video so that I have a balanced view, so that it's not one-sided, so that women or African women will not say, "Oh, this guy is kind of sided men only." Even though my 88% of my viewers were men, just about 5 point something percent. The other percent is women view my channel. So today we are going to look at what is the risk involved, going back to Africa, our single African women abroad going back to Africa to get married. This is a nuclear option because if they can find a good man abroad, it would have been better. But because sometimes some people have given hope that you cannot find a single African man abroad to get married. Some women have done that. But today I'm looking at the story I'm going to tell today as we roll on. Is about those African parents that have children here. They have their children here, their daughters here. They grew up in like city like London, and they went to school here in London. They went to school in abroad, all their education in abroad, but unfortunately they couldn't find someone, to get married. So they went. Some of them start going back to Africa to get married. So some of those ladies, or maybe their parents is telling them, if you go to Africa, you might have a better chance because it seems like there is decline in marriages in the West. What we hear often is a partnership, but if you're traditional African parents or African man or woman, that we value marriage in Africa. Still the same to today. We don't have a partnership. It doesn't exist in Africa. So But the warning I'm gonna give to those girls that were African single ladies, most of them, some of them that are born abroad, is that when you travel back to Africa to look for someone or get married to someone, you don't go there and start behaving like boss chick, you know. Some of ours, if because our African men back home, you know, their mother, they grew up with their mom was submissive to their father. So if you're not submissive, you know, it's high risk that you know that relationship will not gonna last because they're used to submissive women. Africa, you know, our women are in Africa. Most of them are submissive, but I'm not saying that all of them because we still have some broken marriages happening in Africa. I'm not saying it caused by women, caused by you know both sides. So let me continue this story. I'm gonna make it short. This lady, the parents came from Africa, and she was born here in London. And I've come in contact with this lady. She went back to Africa because she's getting 30-something years. You know, I think the parents might be telling her, "Look, you know, time is running out. You have to do something." But when I met this lady, you know, my friend, he was doing something, and they invited the lady, and my friend invited me, you know, gathered, you know. But he's just my first day of meeting this lady, you know. You can even say that he's so argumentative. She argues a lot like men. And if we carry this kind of behavior to Africa, African men will not tolerate it. But this, I'm thinking, this was exactly happened because sometimes people live in the West, they live in bubble. They think that life, you know, life is just limited to the West. So people in Africa doesn't have opinion on their own life. So she traveled back to Africa, and I think I don't know how maybe somebody introduced him to this young man, and she brought her to London, and they're planning to get married. But along the line, the whole thing fell apart. It didn't work out because I believe that, you know, because not every, especially the African men, you know, they are so traditional. So not all of them will take this kind of boss chick, you know, or women that are argumentative. So I was not surprised when I heard that it didn't work out. That this the marriage was cut off. And the problem with it is that this lady I'm talking about, he goes to the church here as well, and you wonder why couldn't find anyone in the church. These black churches they go, couldn't find anyone there, and she has to activate the nuclear option of going back to Africa, and trying to get married to somebody. They have different culture, different way of life most of the time. So for someone like that to succeed in marrying someone with different culture, you need a big adjustment. You need to be open to learn and adjust in both ways. You know, the man have to adjust and learn, and the woman have to do that at the same time. But sometimes, you know, no one tells them, those ladies, this. Thank you for watching. Please help your African bratan, as the Russian calls me, bratan, brother. I'm trying to, you know, build my channel, you know, like the video and subscribe. That's what you can do to help us. Help me anyway. Thank you for watching. Peace.